Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cam's rolling.
And 3, 2.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. I am continuing to interview the board members for the East Montgomery County Improvement District. And I have one of the original board members in here today. Going to be a great conversation. I'm really looking forward to this one. I have Fred Wetz. Fred, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Yeah. Good to see you. Before we got rolling, we were talking a little bit about the formation of EMCID. And I'd really like to talk about that because I don't think a lot of people know how it was formed and how it was all put together. And I find that just to be a fascinating conversation because without it, what would East County look like? You know, and we'll get into that part later. But so how did this thing form? I mean, you were telling me that it was kind of it was based on the same legislation that put together Town Center in the Woodlands.
Yeah.
So how did that all happen?
Well, to back up a little further, we had no economic development out here in East County.
Right.
I mean, we had other places had cities that would help them, like the city of Houston does economic development. We had nothing.
Now, this was back in '79 when there weren't even bridges.
Well,
we just had crossroads on 59.
I moved here in '79, and this was 1997.
97, that's
97,
right. Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had that reversed, yeah.
But a little history on it, our state senator at the time was Michael Galloway.
Okay.
And Kevin Brady, which our U.S. Representative Kevin Brady, I think he served 20-something years in legislation.
Good long time, yeah.
But before he was that, he was the head of the Conroe Chamber. And Town Center had just organized an improvement district, which is Town Center Improvement District, which is now, I don't even know what they changed their name
Woodlands Town Center or Woodlands Township? That's what it is.
Woodlands Township, that's what it is. But their improvement district was 1,000 acres. So, and Woodlands Mall was already there. That 1,000 acres encompassed the Woodlands Mall.
Okay.
So they were more of a management district. They were managing what they already had. So Kevin came to the president of our chamber at the time, which was Connie Bloodworth. And she said, he told them that y'all have the same opportunity. So she met with some of the people. I was on the chamber board at the time. And like-minded people, we decided that this is what we need to try to do. So Jim Simmons, our commissioner at the time, appointed 8 members. And we got together and we started trying to draw up our legislation to go to
hard thing to do.
None of us were
attorneys. Tough thing to do to draw up legislation.
I mean, we had business people. I think I tried to name some of them. Steve Head, president at Kingwood College, just retired as chancellor of the college district, and at that time it was NHMCCD was the name of it, North Harris Community, North Harris Montgomery Community College District.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Jim Deaton was one of the members. Ann Matoya was one of the members that was on there, and Chuck Sheets from Kingwood Columbia Hospital. That's the name.
Oh, wow.
Past.
That's coming from way back
so
there.
we had people that was on there that ran businesses. And I wondered, why did they have me on there? I mean, I was a little guy compared to what they were. And we got together and we started drawing this, and Connie would send things out. We would meet, and we would she would type it up and she would send it to us, and we had redlined what we didn't like, and we got through with it and we thought this is perfect. It went to legislation and then it was turned down flat.
Just failed.
Houston, the city limits of Houston, or city of Houston, fought us tooth and toenail to stop that thing.
Oh, I'm sure they wanted that tax money. Yeah.
And they wasn't going to tell us because they probably wanted to annex us.
I would imagine.
But when they annex you, they have to give you services like sewer, fire protection, police protection. So they didn't want that. So what we were doing is we were asking for a penny of that tax rate, because our tax rate at the time, sales tax. We do not have ad valorem tax power. I don't want it.
Right. Y'all don't take any property tax
No
money,
property tax
just sales
whatsoever.
taxes.
It's the state portion. Like if you go to buy a new car, the state tax on that new purchase is 6.25%.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to the state.
Okay.
So everywhere in the state of Texas, there with the maximum of 8.25, you have a 2 cents gap there.
That's going somewhere.
It's going
It
somewhere.
could go to an ESD. It could go wherever.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
Houston has that same tax.
Okay.
Their tax is 8.25%.
Mm-hmm.
Where does theirs go?
I don't know. Where does it go?
Nobody knows.
Somebody should know. Yeah.
But I can tell you where ours goes.
See, now I have to look that up. So, okay.
Yeah,
Good,
but don't
yeah.
ask anybody from Houston.
Yeah.
Ask the Whitmire, the mayor.
Yeah.
They'll give you an answer.
Yeah.
But this we asked for a penny. So
Which made it 7.25.
would make at that time it was 7.25.
Okay.
And what we found out, and we had we didn't know what we was going to do because we didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
This 8-person board, Chamber didn't have any money to pay to fight this legally.
Yeah, the chamber was a small outfit back then.
Very small.
Right.
One of our board members right now, Catherine Pearson,
Mm-hmm.
was the chairman of the board for the chamber. I remember I was on the board. She took our checkbook out and wrote a check to the Community Chamber of Commerce. That was
yeah.
the name of
yeah,
it
that's
then.
right. Yeah, wow.
To keep our chamber afloat.
Wow.
She did that.
Personal funds.
Personal funds. That's
Wow.
right. She sure did. She kept it afloat. So the chamber couldn't fund us
Mm-hmm.
to go forward with the improvement district. We had a law firm from Houston, Schwartz, Page and Harding,
Okay.
which the head of Mike Page was the head of it, and he lived in the Woodlands. He was the attorney for the Woodlands Improvement District.
Okay.
So he said, I can get your legislation passed. We thought, how's he going to do it? We don't
Yeah.
know. And he said he would do it pro bono, meaning if it don't get passed, he don't get paid.
Okay. Yeah.
Now he went a step further than that. We didn't have any money, so he gave us a loan. First loan was $25,000 to keep East Montgomery County Improvement District afloat
Mm-hmm.
while we got this through. And he said, when we get it through, you pay me out of the proceeds when you get them from the state.
Now, this was before the EMCID building and all that. So where
Oh,
were you,
yes.
where were you guys meeting at?
We were meeting. We met in Judge McMillan's courtroom for a long time.
Okay.
And that goes
Yeah.
back, don't it?
Yeah,
that
Judge
was,
McMillan's.
That was before Judge
Wow,
Dunn and
yeah.
before Judge Metz.
Yeah.
But
that-
Cindy
yeah.
McMillan was there. We met in her room, and then we started meeting upstairs at the old community bank building.
Okay.
The one
Wow.
that's right there beside the
Yeah.
EMCID building
Yeah.
now. We met there.
Okay.
And we rented an office space there when we got legal.
Mm-hmm.
So we started this, and what had happened, the reason they wouldn't do the legislation or Houston blocked it, is the Houston city limits does not stop at New Caney ISD lines.
Okay.
It is inside, and it don't stop at the county lines. So there are overlapping of those jurisdictions. In our legislation, we had it going to the New Caney ISD because
Okay.
our 158 square miles follows the New Caney ISD and Splendor ISD school district lines.
Okay.
So that overlapped into Houston. And that would mean Houston would have to give us any tax
They'd
back
have to forfeit it. Yeah.
from that. They're not going to do that.
Right.
So that's why it was blocked. That's why they voted against it. But we didn't know that. We
Okay.
didn't know the reason why they were doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can see how that wouldn't be apparent up front.
right.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. And you think, hindsight sometimes is 20/20.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can learn from our mistakes. But that's why they did it. So he used the town center legislation and changed the names in there where it said Town Center, it put East Montgomery County Improvement District.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that way it was already written, easy to
It's already
do.
written. It already
Yeah.
passed.
There you go.
Nobody bucked them on it.
Okay.
So it went into legislation, passed right through.
Now, just so I have a good timeline, how much time had passed from the time that it was rejected until y'all did it again?
Well, they just meet every 2 years.
So it was 2 years?
But it was the same session.
Okay. Same
It
session.
was. We got it in at the first of the session. So the end of the session, it got it in because
That's
he
cool.
knew
That's
what was
quick.
wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
So he did that, and he had to give us another loan, and I can't remember what it was, $5,000 or $7,000, something like that. He gave us $30,000 to $32,000 pro bono.
Yeah.
And so we got our first payment in. We had to vote it in. We had to vote to form the tax district of East Montgomery County Improvement
So
District.
the voters in East Montgomery County had to approve that?
Yes.
Okay.
They had to vote the tax on themselves. And at the same time, they voted our board in to be a legal board. See, we was an appointed board before that,
Okay.
much like a mud district
Yeah.
developmental board.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it voted, we had 8 board members. And looking back at that, you think, why do we have 8 board members? It would be a lot easier if we had 7.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, breaking ties. We've never had a tie. I mean,
Wow. Okay.
that I can remember.
Yeah.
And I was the chairman the first 9 years. And then
Okay.
another time I was chairman again. And but we've never had a tie. We thought we was going to have a tie one time. And in fact, I remember our president CEO at the time was Brian Smith, and he asked me, and he said, if this is a tie, if it comes down, that's going to be a tie, and if the vote's 4 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
and you vote last, how are you going to vote? I said, I'm going to vote on the side with the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you would throw it into a tie? And I said, yes, I would.
Yeah.
And I said, because what that means is somebody don't understand fully what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We want everybody to be on the same page. The vote was 8-0.
Wow. Okay.
And that's how we operate. Every now and then someone will not understand and they'll vote a different way.
Sure.
But that's why we have 8 people on there.
Okay.
We have 8.
Yeah, it's standard
Yeah.
size for a board.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's worked real good. But
Yeah.
our first payment from the state was, I want to say it's $360,000.
And see, that's more than I thought it would have been way back then when all this was just forest. You know.
Well, it went into force.
Yeah.
And now they send payments once a month.
Mm-hmm.
At that time they did not do that.
Wow.
So we had to wait. Yeah, it seemed like it may have been a year before we got any money back.
So let me dig this out of your mental filing cabinet. What was the first project that you can remember that EMCID did that would be considered economic development or whatever? Was the first thing y'all's building, or what was the first thing?
No, the first thing we had was which nationwide known company, Raw Purple.
Really?
Raw Purple was in.
Okay.
They were located in Humble, and they were landlocked,
Yeah.
and they were moving, and they wanted to move. I can't even remember the location that they wanted to move to, but we didn't want to lose a company. What we want to do is bring companies here that are clean companies that bring jobs to our area.
Sure. Yeah.
Our East Montgomery County Improvement District in the beginning was nothing more than a bedroom community. People come out here to sleep,
Oh yeah.
and they would drive an hour to work. So we wanted to, and everybody that comes out here now, there is a commitment from these companies that they have to hire X number of people that live in East
Right.
Montgomery
Yeah.
County.
That are within the borders of
That's it.
EMCID. Yeah.
And we got
Makes sense.
158 square miles.
Yeah.
And then people will ask, do you have people for us to hire?
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. They want labor or labor that can be skilled. That's why a lot of times when we do this, we'll have a education program with our college system. We've always worked very close with our college system, and I'm talking about what is called Lone Star now.
Right.
To educate people to these skill sets for whatever these employees are, because we want to take care of that.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So how long was it before the building came about?
Now I'm going by memory. I
Okay.
think it says on our cornerstone on the building that it was built in 2000.
Okay.
But here we started in 97.
Mhm.
I mean that's what the cornerstone says. So
Yeah.
that's when they got that nearly finished when they
Okay.
put that in.
Yeah.
So it took us 3 years,
Mhm.
but during that time we had to go because we had no track record. I mean, we're a governmental entity,
Mhm.
but we'd never taken in but $360,000,
Cool.
and we're wanting to build a building.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, that was called Taj Mahal, and people were saying, "Well, we don't need that. We don't need that."
Mhm.
Today, it's too small.
Yeah.
I mean, the chamber, if any people, if they're listening, they'll say, "Well, no, it's not too small." Chamber can't even have a luncheon in
Yeah,
there.
the
They have
chamber.
200 people.
Yeah, the chamber loads it down. I've been there when it's
it
just.
does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was down there today, and they were setting it up for something. I borrowed a flag for our reunion, American flag, and I returned it.
Mhm.
And they were setting up for some event. We don't even. There's so many events in the building right now that we don't even. The board members don't know what they are.
Mhm.
We can't keep up with that.
Right.
No way we can.
Yeah.
But what we did is we designed what we wanted, or what we thought we wanted, and then we had to go. I know our executive director, and that's what Frank McCready is now our president CEO. In the beginning, we called them executive directors,
Okay.
and it was Brian Smith. He got together our bonding company that we were going to use for a loan on the building, and it was myself and the vice chairman at the time was Leon Cabellas.
Okay.
And he was also the superintendent for Splendora ISD. So we went to New York City, and we had a thing a presentation, and each one of us would carry different responsibilities in that. Brian had something. Our bonding company would. When you're going there, you got to secure these bonds when you sell them to people.
Oh yeah.
So, and to do that, we have to reinsure those bonds. So we had to go to reinsurance companies, and that was my deal. Talk to them about the reinsurance, and we were shocked when we came home. They give us a great bond rating, and they said they would reinsure our building.
That's cool.
Thought what?
See, I didn't know the building was built through bonds.
Yes.
So okay, well, that's
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
And it was $6 million.
Really?
Somewhere back here.
That's it.
Yeah. Then.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
now we had to buy the property,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on the New Caney School Board for 6 years, and they owned that property out there. It was 12.85 acres
Okay.
that they owned it. Back when I was there, Harry Holder was the superintendent, and Ed King was the president of the school board. And Ed said, when y'all come to ask us about buying this property, I want you to be the one to ask us. I said, why do you want me? He said, because you sat on this side of the desk,
Yeah. Okay.
and you can tell us, you can speak our language. So we went over there, and it was 12.85 acres. We had an appraisal on it. Do you know how much the property would be worth in 1998?
No.
12.85 acres.
No.
400. I'm going by memory now. $411,000.
Yes. It's
EMCID
nothing.
paid
That's crazy.
at the corner of 99 and 69.
Yeah.
We bought 12.85 acres for $411,000.
Man, that would never happen today.
Inflation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And all this is open knowledge. I mean, they
Mhm.
could go back and look at that.
Yeah.
But they would ask me questions, and they said, well, what? And I asked them, are you planning a school out there?
Mhm.
You wouldn't put a school out there. New Caney High School had already been built.
Right.
I mean, so it'd have to be a junior high or an elementary
Mm-hmm.
on a freeway frontage. There's a better use for that land than for a school.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
they said, well, what do you suggest? I said, I would suggest selling this land to EMCID, taking that $411,000 and reinvested it in land somewhere else to build another high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what they did with it, but I have a feeling there were some pretty good people on the board, and that's probably exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
pretty logical,
Yeah.
and they still are.
Yeah.
But that's how it started, and we started building the building, and that's too small.
Wow. Did you ever think that 99 would be what it is?
Oh,
I
no.
remember when it was just community.
We heard
That's
rumors
crazy.
that 99 was going to be here. Right?
Mhm.
Come on,
Yeah.
when they going to put it?
Yeah.
And we've heard it for 15 years, maybe longer than that. Well,
Wow.
it's here.
Yeah.
And it's opened up a lot of industrial land. I remember sitting at the Randall Reed Stadium
Mm-hmm.
with a friend of mine, looking out across there, and my grandson was playing football for Porter High School. And I said, see all these trees out here? Next year, or in the next 2 years, that won't be trees.
Yeah. It'll all just be gone.
It'll all be buildings.
Wow.
Sure will. It'll be stores. Now, excuse me. We want people to come here that create jobs, that creates products, that sells products, that collects the tax,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what feed us. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's what we do. We want the retail. Of course, with the retail, wholesale comes with that also,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to have somebody doing the wholesale.
And you'll have some manufacturing as well, don't
Yes.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the time, we would go to, with Entergy, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
they would take us to trade shows. I remember the first one we went to was a trade show in Las Vegas, and it was sponsored through Entergy.
Okay.
And we would work in their booth and solicit businesses, because it's the largest shopping center show in the United States. Well, that's what feeds us.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, just people say, well, why do you do this? We work our rears off at those those shows. And we have some going to shows right now. And it just keeps you very busy.
I'm sure,
And it's
yeah.
to get businesses to come into here to invest in East Montgomery County. So you want people to go to them that knows how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because we have corporation owners that come there and talk to us.
And I'm
about
sure
that.
there was a time when New Caney was a pretty tough sell, because there just wasn't a whole lot out here.
Right.
But I think it's gotten a lot easier of a sell now. This
Yeah.
is a popular area. I was at you were at Matt Gray's function when he discussed
Yes.
that Entergy has had more connections in Montgomery County in the past year than 3 or 4 states around
Together.
us combined.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost scary when you think
It
about
is.
that many people coming
It
here.
is.
You know?
The whole state of Arkansas. And I've
I
heard.
think it was Arkansas, Oklahoma, and there was another.
Yeah.
Yeah, Louisiana, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So
Yeah,
wow.
that's where they would know. That's where our power comes out of,
Yeah.
Louisiana.
So that just raises the sales tax revenue because everybody eats here, everybody shops here, everybody buys stuff here.
But
know?
everything with it. That's how we have to work real close with TxDOT. We have to work real close with our county commissioner, because that creates more traffic. I know I trade. I'm in the insurance business. I have an insured that, and this lady was griping because we didn't have name brand restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it'll come.
We have a few.
It's all based on
We have a few.
demographics.
Yeah, but we have a few.
And
We
she
have
said,
some
well,
good
we got to
ones.
get this and this. And I said, it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah.
Just be patient. And she kept on and kept on. And one day she called me and she said, we're moving. I said, really? Where are you going? And she told me where she's going.
Mhm.
And I said, why are you moving? She said, I can't take the traffic. And I said, okay. I said, demographics is traffic count.
Sure. Yeah.
And I said, Well, you need to go by Burger King so we could have it our way. but it comes with it, but you have to plan it ahead. And that is a problem.
It is,
And I know
yeah.
it's a headache for Matt every day. It's a headache for TxDOT.
Well, and it's also a headache for all the leaders in Montgomery County because this is a
Absolutely.
countywide issue, not just an issue with
It's not
Montgomery
just East County.
Yeah.
But
And
the
so I think
other,
that-
it's new to us because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones have been putting up with it.
I have real concerns about infrastructure in that we're just coming into hurricane season.
Yes.
And if we got some sort of evacuation order, man, better be first in line,
Yes.
you know. So, and I'm hoping that over the next 10, 15 years that our leaders can actually come together and provide a more wide area bird's eye view of the infrastructure and help to design something that'll work, that'll actually get the flow of traffic out and even where flooding concerns are, where the flow of water is
Absolutely.
and everything else. So that's a
We
big
have
concern.
We have another committee that I serve as chairman of. It's the Governmental Affairs or Planning Committee. And it originally came out of EMCID, Texas. And it meets every other month. And we meet at the EMCID building. We used to meet at the commissioner's office, but we moved it over to the EMCID building. And it's elected officials. It's a school district superintendents from both the school districts, the water district, Entergy, the mayors of our 4 cities that encompass inside that. And it's a planning meeting, and it's like a deacon's meeting at a church.
Okay.
And they come there to get help, and what is said there stays there, unless you enlist somebody from out to help you. And a lot of planning things have come out of that meeting. They're great meetings, and they're pretty well attended.
Okay. And that's once a month you have those?
Once every other month.
Once every other month?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's sponsored
Wow.
through the chamber. Chamber of Commerce is what it is, and I'm the chairman of it now. It used to be Mike Smith, and
Okay. Yeah, I know, Mike.
And you know, I can't remember which commissioner started it. It was either Jim Simmons or Ed Reinhardt, and I want to say it was Ed Reinhardt.
Yeah, probably Ed. Sounds like it'd be up his alley.
Yeah.
You know, he's that kind of guy.
But it's
Yeah.
been constant, been going on ever since then.
Okay.
But
And does it have a board also, or how does it work?
No, we don't have a board. We
Okay.
come there for help.
Okay.
They come there for help. And I know at one time there was EMCID helps out different things.
Oh, yeah.
Especially there was a school district needed a demographic study,
Mhm.
and they hadn't had one. And I remember we had an interim superintendent at the time, and I looked across the table at Frank, and I said, Frank, y'all need to get together after this meeting's over. Because EMCID paid half for that, because we can use the same demographic study.
Right.
There's no sense in every one of these entities paying for the same thing when it can be overlapping uses. That's what we get together to do, to save money for our community,
Okay.
to spend it wisely.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
And people don't know that goes on.
Yeah, I didn't. So what's the official name of this?
It's a Governmental Affairs or Planning Committee.
Okay. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And we can't, we have, when Catherine Pearson was president of the deal, she was on that committee,
Okay.
which Melissa Gonzalez is on it now. But they attend those things to learn what's happening. County judge, state senator, we have 3 state reps, and they're usually represented there.
Okay. Anybody from the Texas Water Development Board or
No.
any of that kind of stuff?
No, they're not on it.
Okay. Wow.
Because they don't have offices in our area.
Okay.
But we meet every other month.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That sounds like
yeah,
a
and
unique.
it's a closed meeting. It's not open door meeting, because they really do come there for help.
Yeah.
Because it's a time then all of them can get together and talk, and nobody's going to nitpick anybody,
Yeah.
because they're coming for help.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. All right. So what things have you championed, I guess, at EMCID? Were there any projects that you came up with and said, hey, I want to do this, and brought it to the EMCID board, and it came together. And
Absolutely.
tell me about it.
Well, it came from when I was on the New Caney School Board.
Okay.
When I was on the school board, I went to a principal at I'm trying not to mention the name.
Okay.
At New Caney.
Okay.
At
That's
one
good
of the
enough.
elementary
Yeah.
schools. And I asked him, I was real concerned because I was the first one in my college, in my family that went to college.
Okay.
But I could see the people in college degree is not everything. I mean, I don't mean to uplift the college degree or downplay not getting one.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in our district were not furthering their education.
Mm-hmm.
Trade school, nursing, they wasn't doing it.
Right.
So I went to this principal and I said, what's the mean education level of the parents of the students in your school? And she said, now I was a New Caney School Board at the time, member. And she said, you don't want to know. I said, yes, I do. And she said, it's right at the 8th grade.
Wow. So that was the average.
Average education of the parents.
Okay.
And I thought, oh no, this is going to take generations to change it.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew the school board couldn't do that. I mean, we were strapped
Sure.
with everything that we had at the time, but after EMCID got going, I presented to the board, and one of the board members said, well, let's give them a scholarship. I said, good idea. What do you think it should be? And they said, what about $50?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking back, you can't buy one book for $50.
Right.
So what we did is we had our president CEO do a study to see how much we could afford. I mean, keep in mind, less than 20%, at that time, less than 20% of the students graduating were furthering their education.
Wow. Yeah.
So $50 ain't gonna help them.
Right.
Now, $50 now won't hardly cover a family at McDonald's
Yeah, that's for sure.
right now.
Yeah.
But what we set it at as was $1,000, and that was a big step for EMCID.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at the time that we were having,
And so originally, did y'all provide that to every student that graduated?
but they had to go to NHMCCD schools.
Okay.
It couldn't. They had to go there.
Okay.
So it got to going, and this thing may make it.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was is it was based on 1 year's tuition
Mm-hmm.
to what is now Kingwood College.
Okay.
So if they could make it, it was bait money. If they
Sure,
could make it, if they could make it for 1 year, I can do this. I can get a degree. I mean, associate's degree is 2 years.
2 years minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they could at least come out of it with an associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it started, and my kids didn't get it. It was that my kids were already graduated.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are old, but they had already graduated. Now my grandkids, on one side of them, have got it.
Mm-hmm.
But it started there, and then we opened it up to where they could go to any place, any college. This is a scholarship that they do not have to apply for. They have to live. They got to go to New Caney or Splendor schools,
Right.
for at least their senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they had 2 years to use it. Now it's went up to 3. Now we've changed it. And we've also, with inflation, education has went up too. Now,
Oh yeah, a lot.
Kingwood College is about $1,400 to $1,500, or last time we looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have raised that to $1,600. Now you think, just New Caney has West Fork,
Mm-hmm.
has Porter High School, has New Caney High School, Splendora has Splendora High School. That's 4 high schools
Mm-hmm.
that are 4A to 6A.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're not small high schools.
Right.
That is a big investment in
That's a big number.
our kids. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Now you think, and now a while ago we talked about Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They get the same 2 cents. I mean, we don't get the whole 2 cents. Now we get a penny and a half.
Mm-hmm.
In Porter, the fire department gets that other half a cent.
Okay.
Porter Fire Department.
Okay.
So that's where the 2 cents goes.
Okay.
Where does it go again in Houston?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's got to go somewhere.
Somebody's getting
You
it.
know. Yeah.
So this is how we're spending a big chunk of what we're collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear people say, well, are you spending it wisely? We started early voting this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty wisely.
Yeah.
Plus the businesses that we've got to move here. Now, the first business that came here, you hadn't asked me about that, was Royal Purple. When you talked about that one.
Yeah, and see, I didn't know Royal Purple was a national corporation. I thought they were just local here.
What they do is blending of synthetic oils.
Right.
They did own the Baytown drag strip, but I think they've sold it now.
Yeah.
Now the company.
Yeah, they're big in high performance stuff. Yeah.
The company has been sold.
Okay.
I think the first guy's name was Williams that owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Real nice people.
Yeah.
But that was the first company, and then Walmart Distribution Center. This was before Frank got here.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a place for a distribution center, and if you ever been to that area out there, the name of that road has not always been Gene Campbell.
Yeah, I've seen the Walmart Distribution Center, but I haven't seen anything else out there. It's been it's been a long time since
there's
I've
over
been out
20
there.
companies out there.
Okay.
Lowe's Distribution Center is out there also.
Yeah, huge place.
Yeah, the large
Yeah.
appliances, they have that. There's quite a few businesses
Yeah.
that are out there now.
Okay.
And that was there used to be a cattle guard across that road.
Really?
Yeah, people
Wow.
with big 4-wheel drives would go around it
Yeah.
to go in there and go mud hogging.
Yeah.
And they came to us and they said, they wanted to buy 200 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought the property. EMCID did.
Okay.
We gave it to them.
Okay.
And then you think, well, is that a good investment?
That's Walmart Distribution Center.
Walmart Distribution Center.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of jobs there, though. I don't know how many, but a lot of people work there.
Right at 1,200 right now.
Wow. Yeah.
They work 363 days a year, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
24 hours a day. Think of the jobs.
Yeah.
They moved in. They were originally they were planning, I think it was 600,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had all the engineering done. This is when Ed was the
County Commissioner. Mm-hmm.
And they did all the engineering on that job, and then Walmart decided that they were going to add frozen food to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that changes everything. Water usage,
Oh,
because
yeah.
there was nothing out there but mud.
Right.
So sewer, we did our own sewer system. We did our own water well,
Mm-hmm.
and Montgomery County Mud 4.
Mhm.
I don't know. If
Yeah,
it's
y'all had to
3 or
create a mud
4.
district
We had to
for that,
create a
right?
mud district and
Okay.
everything because
Mhm.
they had nothing. And I remember the day we went and closed on the paperwork. We went out to Buddy Jasper's law firm out on 105,
Mhm.
and it was me and our attorney, David Marks, and we went out there and we signed the papers to buy that land. Well, we already had the thing in the works. They wanted 200 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it got time to close on the land, they decided they didn't want but 144.
Okay.
Well, that has a difference.
Sure.
Yeah, 56 acres. What are we going to do with
Mhm.
it? That we already agreed to buy.
Yeah.
So we had to buy it. And I remember the attorney asked me on the way back, do you ever think you was going to be a developer? I said, no. I'm wondering, what are we going to do with this land?
Mm-hmm.
And well, there's been other businesses take up that land.
Mm-hmm.
Jan Maui moved up here, bought land from us, and then Key Steel.
Mm-hmm.
I remember after Frank got here, Frank and I went on a deal that was set up by the governor of Texas, and it was at Monterrey, Mexico, and Guadalajara, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And that trip, Key Steel came out of it. Their Mexican name is Leal, and they were in Monterrey.
Okay.
And they moved up here, and they have a big contract through TxDOT for the concrete reinforcement mats. They're 11 feet wide and 20 feet long.
Yeah.
And they're
road mat.
great. The electric welding.
Yeah.
We went to their plant because we wanted to make sure that their plant was something that we wanted to attract. We want to attract the types of businesses that the people, the residents of East Montgomery County, are going to be 100% for.
Right. Yeah.
We want to
low
pick and
emissions
choose.
and none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And we do that, and people might not think we do, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain businesses we don't want.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And we want clean businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up here. They have expanded 2 or 3 times. I mean, it's great partnerships. We have businesses from Ireland. We have them from Canada. We have them from Germany. It's
So is
right
there any
out
of
there
that,
on Gene Campbell.
is there any of that 57 acres left that
No.
y'all really
No,
sold it all?
we've purchased land. We have to purchase land all the time,
Wow.
and we resell it to them. There's a lot of things that's went into it. Our education foundation, because the scholarship program, we want to make it perpetual,
Right.
to where it just keeps going forever and ever and ever.
Right. Yeah, I think it was Catherine that was telling, either Catherine or Brenda was telling me that at closing they bring half and the other half goes to the scholarship foundation.
That's right.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean to you?
That's a big deal.
Well, it's like you're writing a check to your church.
Mm-hmm.
The Scholarship Foundation is a 501c3.
Yeah, you're just investing into the community at large, and so that's a good deal. You know.
I think it's a wise use of our money, and their money too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
It's working out very well, but it's a big conglomerate, a machine that keeps going.
Just out of curiosity, have y'all done any studies to determine how many kids remain in college after that first year, after that first scholarship?
We don't know.
I wonder how many.
And if
I wonder if it's just a punch they need that to
well,
where
we
they just
wanna-
apply for a Pell
Well, I
Grant
know
or
that
something after that.
one of the things we've added to it is and this is a merit-based scholarship. It's from the scholarship committee, and which Brenda is on it, and also Catherine's on it, and I'm on it also. That meets outside the board, the EMCID board,
Right.
and we give $500 during their junior and their senior year, and if they're going for a PhD. We will pay them $500 a year to help them out with their education.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's a great incentive for them. I know one of my grandson got that in his junior year and his senior year in college, and he's graduated. And
That's awesome. Yeah.
now his sister wanted to be a barber, so we helped her with that $1,600 to
Go to barber college.
go to barber
Yeah,
college.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I mean, they could be a welder. They could be doing it. They could be going for a CNA and a nursing degree and then go into RN. We try to help people.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I see no problem with that. It's good use of the tax money.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. So I'm an average voter guy. I don't know a whole lot about Fred Wetz. I know a little bit more after this interview. But do you have a website or a Facebook page or anything that anybody can
Just
go?
a personal Facebook page is all I have.
And just Fred Wetz, WTZ,
Fred
correct?
Wetz.
Okay. Great. And you're running for
Position number 2.
How many terms would this be? Wow.
I
Because,
don't
I mean,
know.
if you've been on since inception and only been off, twice?
I've been off twice,
Yeah.
2 years at a time each
Yeah.
time. So we've been in business since '97, and this is 24. So it's 27 years. 4 years off of that, of 23 years.
And you do a lot of other stuff for the community. So I think that's great. You know, this other thing you were talking about is interesting to me. I think that's an awesome thing to get our leaders together and discuss the future direction of, you know, where we're going.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it. You
They
know?
do. And to steal a comment from our ex-county judge, Greg Doyle, he said, what we do is what other parts of Montgomery County say they do and would like to do it. Y'all actually do it.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I'm a believer.
That's a compliment.
I'm a believer in East Montgomery County, though.
I am too.
So
I'm
yeah.
proud to be EMC.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely, 100%. Well, Fred, I want to thank you for all the things you've done for this community. I think you've done a lot, being on the school board, EMCID board, this other committee, and who knows what else you're involved in. I'm sure there's a lot. And not everybody sticks their neck out. And all this has been for how much money again?
EMCID voted in the beginning to not accept any pay.
Yeah.
We don't get paid a penny.
Yeah.
Never have, never will.
And, you know, a lot of people think that when you're on a board, you just go and you do your meetings once a month or whatever. But there's a lot more to it
Right.
than that. You guys are constantly putting in the work.
School boards don't get paid.
So, yeah.
Mud districts, far as I know, all of them get paid.
They do? I didn't know that.
Far as I know, they do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we do
I know
not.
some boards get a per diem and stuff like that, but yeah,
We don't want to be accused of doing things.
yeah,
We don't take any money.
yeah.
Uh,
I think, though, that it's just the nature of certain political subdivisions. They take heat. It's just the way it is.
They
You know?
do, and it's usually
You know?
someone that don't know.
Yeah.
I wish. I mean, we have elections starting today.
Yep.
We have elections every 2 years. For the last 2 elections that I can remember, the people that ran in opposition to board members,
Mm-hmm.
one has attended one meeting. We have at least one meeting a month.
Mm-hmm.
They've attended one. How in the world do they think they know what we do?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's hard. And I mean, the thing is that apathy is running amok throughout the whole country.
Yeah.
It's hard to get anybody to go to any meetings. We go to our city council meetings here in Splendora.
Yeah.
I think we're the only attendees that
I
are
understand.
just, you know, and when we first showed up, they were like, oh, what are y'all going to say? I'm like, nothing.
What are you here for?
We're just here
Yeah.
to support you, you know, and they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we attend on a regular basis. Same thing
But
with
it's like
commissioners
that in
court.
most
Yeah.
things, unless they want to complain about something. And,
Right.
And usually it's something that you don't have any jurisdiction over anyway.
Yeah, and I think the good part about that is it gives me at least the ability to not make assumptions and not,
Right.
you know, continue a strange narrative
Yeah.
when I've been there, and so therefore I know
Right.
what's going on.
Some things we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Some things we can't. We can't talk about like who's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
Yeah,
talk
I mean,
about that.
and that's standard for any board. You go to any board and they're doing land purchases or employee stuff, and they take that into executive session. That's just the way
Yes.
it is.
Well,
You know, and there's a
personnel
reason for
and that's they have to do that
Yeah.
by law. I teach Bible study at my house,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody asked a question one night. Well, who's coming at right here in this corner? And somebody answered,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Wait a minute." You did not hear that from me, and I'm not going to comment if that's
Yeah.
right or wrong. I did not say that.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, what they will do, the companies that are coming here, they want to make their announcement on their timetable.
Yeah, and that makes sense too because they
It
spend
does.
a lot of money in PR for stuff like that. There's
Yes.
a lot of money that's being spent for their grand openings and things like that. So I can understand.
You talk
that-
out of
yeah.
school, they could just cancel their whole contract.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
makes
so they
sense.
can't. You cannot. You have to protect their integrity.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is everybody's going to figure it out later. As soon as the signs go up, they're going to know.
Yeah.
You know, so
They are.
And to me, it's worth the wait.
And
you know?
people ask me, "Well, what's going in across from your house?" I said,
Don't know.
"Oh no, somebody cut down trees."
Here you go. There you go.
And
So here's a question I haven't asked the other candidates, but I want to ask you because I think you have a better understanding of where we've been so you can tell where we're going. Where do you see East County in the next 5 years with EMCID included? And especially being the force that EMCID provides to East County, where do you see us? 5 years, and that's a long time, believe it or not. A lot can happen in 5 years.
I wish I could tell you exactly. What I would like to see is, I mean, it's close to my heart, this education program that we're having, the scholarship program. I would like to see us increase it,
Okay.
but not just because of inflation. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I would like to be us to say that if you want to go to Kingwood College, you can get an associate degree.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it, and we'll pay for it.
That's, yeah, tall order. That's a
I
lot
would
of
like
money.
to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get there. I don't know if we'll get there in my lifetime. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what inflation's going to do because we need to make some changes with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll get a chance in November.
Okay.
But I would like to see that happen. But there's other things out there too. I mean, continue what we're doing. And let me say this: I've served with a lot of EMCID boards. I don't know, 4 terms, something like that.
It's a lot. Yeah.
This is the best board we've ever had. Now, I'm not going to say we're perfect because we're not. Nobody's perfect.
Well, everybody makes mistakes.
But
That's
this
general
is
business.
This is the best one
Yeah.
I have served with. This is it.
Great. Fantastic.
I don't know what else I could say but
There
any
you go.
better than that. I mean, they're good people. I think they have East Montgomery County at heart.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Okay.
Every one of them.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. All right. Well, are you going to be working the polls or are you just too busy?
I am. I'm not retired.
Okay.
I'm going to be working them some. I
Okay.
went by there this morning and I saw Ron's wife was there and Brenda was there.
Okay.
I think Catherine is at Splendora.
Okay. Fantastic.
I'm going to be down there some.
All right. Great.
But I've been off. I've been out of the office Thursday and Friday because we had our high school reunion this weekend with nearly 500 people at the show barn.
Wow.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
Good
I
to
bet.
see old friends.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
there's so many of them that live in East Montgomery County.
500 people is a big, big, big reunion. You know, that's
Well,
huge.
it's an all-class reunion.
Oh, okay.
But we had
Yeah.
a picture that we took with couples that had been married 45 years and up,
Wow.
and we had 64
Really?
couples out of that
That's a bunch.
500 or a little less than 500
Yeah.
people had been married 64 years. I mean, 45 years.
Wow.
There's 64 of them. That's some couples are doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you don't catch that too much anymore
No,
these days.
You sure don't.
So,
Yeah.
well, Fred, it's been great, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks
I
for
know you're a
inviting me.
busy guy, so I do appreciate your time, and I think the voters appreciate it too.
Well, I
Because they
hope
want to
do.
hear from you guys.
Um,
And
just go vote.
yeah, there you go. And thanks for spreading a little light this way, because there a lot about the inception of EMCID we didn't know about. Now we know a little bit more. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful, man. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And we've had good boards all along. We have.
Yeah.
But this is the best one.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. It's important for us to be intelligent voters. Get out there, do your part. By not voting, you're not helping. So you got to make sure and vote. And you got to make sure and know what and who you're voting for. And the best way to do that is to get as much information as you possibly can. Even call these guys, talk to them. Every one of them that I've reached out to have been more than receptive and wanted to talk and wanted to tell me what was going on. So it's raised my comfort level a lot. And so get out there and make your voice heard. Be a part of a great, thriving, wonderful community that is East County. And we'll see you in the next one. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.